Hello again. I would like to conclude this exploration and production sequence by a short discussion about the rules of the game, the players, and some of the future challenges facing ENP. All the activities presented in the previous sessions are performed all around the world within a very strict frameworks, varying, of course, according to each country's regulations. Each step which has been presented, such as the attribution of mining rights, the definition of work program, development decisions, the definition of the production scheme, extension of license, and, of course, abandonment decision and the abandonment processes, are authorized, defined, and tightly controlled by each country's regulation and laws. What are the main ones? One of the most common ways for any oil company to obtain mining rights and the exploration production acreage is through bidding rounds. These are organized by each country's authorities based on the local hydrocarbon and mining law. The most common type of contract is the so-called production sharing contract, or PSC. It defines, for example, the terms and conditions of the share of production between partners. It also specifies the split of cost investment and the related revenues between the joint venture partners and the country. On a worldwide basis, 50 to 90% of the revenue is for the host country. These contracts were negotiated a long time before the start of production, even sometimes before any discovery. For each asset, which is a block or a permit, several partners create what we call a joint venture, or JV, with only one company holding the operatorship. Why? Exploration is a risky business. Therefore, it is very rare that one company holds 100% of one asset for one main reason: risk sharing. These risks are related to exploration risk, asset uncertainties, financial exposure, access to technologies, portfolio management of ENP assets, etc., etc. The Joint Operating Agreement, called JOA, is a typical contract defining rules between partners and aims to manage the acreage within the joint venture. It defines the rules of the game for the joint venture partners. In countries where national oil companies exist, for example, Saudi Aramco, Petrobras, Statoil, etc., this NOC acts on behalf of the government in the joint ventures. The group of international oil companies, or IOC, includes big integrated companies called majors, such as Exxon, Shell, BP, Chevron, or Total, but includes also a whole range of size from large independents to very small individual companies. Their role varies depending on their business model. In addition, specialized contractors and service companies contribute to and work with the joint venture under service or technical contracts. To conclude, I would like to mention a few challenges that the ENP industry will face in the coming years. The first challenge: growing competition between the international oil companies, the national companies, and the contractor or services suppliers in order to secure access to acreage and assets. The second type of challenge is related to the technology and research effort that will be required to develop more and more complex fields in more and more difficult environments. And lastly, due to this complexity, ENP activities are more and more capital intensive all along the cycle. Thank you for your attention and for following all the lectures on the ENP activities. I hope you enjoyed them. The next step of the oil and gas chain is the transformation of hydrocarbon. This is the work of the refining industry, and you will learn all about that during the next course with Professor Jean-Luc Monsavoir. So it's time now for me to say goodbye. Enjoy the rest of the MOOC.